Stay tuned for the Splash Live. It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm Tyler Kieft alongside Kevin McIntosh. Kevin, happy Tuesday. Glad to have you with us.
Per usual, happy to be here, Tyler. Thank you so much. Another day, another opportunity, and we got a lot to talk about and inform the greater West Bloomfield community about. Let's get into it, Tyler.
Yeah, it is a busy day in the greater West Bloomfield area and an exciting day for those that want to do some learning, get out in the community and engage a little bit. The third member of our team, Jake Schaff, is out in the field. We have a big day happening over at West Bloomfield Town Hall. Jake, thank you for being with us.
Absolutely. Good morning, Tyler. Good morning, Kevin. Glad to be here. Very busy day coming up right here at West Bloomfield Town Hall. It's the 15th annual Health and Wellness Fair. And even though, as you can see, things aren't looking too busy right now, that is going to change in just a very short amount of time, as a lot of health professionals are going to be out here at Town Hall, keeping the community happy, healthy, and informed.
Yeah, we have Jake Schaff out there live. We'll be out there live during the event itself. It's going to be 11 a.m. until 2 p.m. at West Bloomfield Town Hall. And Jake, there's a lot that people can learn out there and a lot that people can engage and you touched on it a little bit. What are some of the things that people can learn and can get into at this health fair today?
So what this event is going to do, it's going to help just keep the community informed in terms of health benefits and practices, just to make sure that everyone's feeling good, feeling fine, and feeling ready to tackle whatever lies ahead. A lot of people are going to be out here. We're going to have Henry Ford Health, West Bloomfield out here to help give out free blood pressure tests for anybody, make sure all that's looking good. Drip IV is going to be here with free B12 shots. We're going to have physical therapy. We're going to have massage therapists here. A lot's going to be happening here, Tyler. It's going to be very busy, but very, very informative.
Yeah, going to be a lot to learn out there, and we'll have a lot for you to learn also with us on our live broadcast. Join us during that event right at 11 o'clock to 12 noon today, and we'll have that repeating for you. So if you're tuning into this later on, or maybe you're tuning into this after the event, you'll be able to see all that on Civic Center TV. Listen on 89.3 Lakes FM, and find it, of course, online on civiccentertv.com. Jake, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Going to be a fun day out there, Kevin. Going to be an interesting day for people because they're going to get their questions answered by experts in a number of different health fields and get to explore some of the resources in the community, which makes this a really important event and why it's persisted now in its 15th year at Town Hall.
Like we talked about before, Tyler, it's rare that you get an opportunity to talk to a healthcare professional and get just advice on healthcare options, on just different ways to treat different diagnoses and things of that nature, and without having to pay at that. So great opportunity for the community to get out, the residents to get out, check their local healthcare providers, local institutions, and ask the questions that they want to ask.
Yeah, you can learn more information before you go on this event and some of the healthcare providers that will be there, westbloomfieldchamber.com, or on Facebook at West Bloomfield CC. Again, our live broadcast today from the 15th Annual Greater West Bloomfield Health and Wellness Fair will be at 11 o'clock to 12 noon right here on Civic Center TV and on 89.3 Lakes FM. We'll also be on our Facebook and YouTube pages as well, so you can tune in. All the regular spots, you see us right here on the Splash Live. Exciting day out at West Bloomfield Town Hall. Kevin, there's been plenty more exciting events happening over in the West Bloomfield Town Hall complex of late, including some promotions for our first responders. Officer Chris Hartman from the West Bloomfield Police Department is now Patrol Sergeant Chris Hartman, promoted after 21 years of combined experience, including working as a dispatcher and a patrol officer in law enforcement, including here in West Bloomfield. He's also part of their drone team over there and a certified range instructor as well. So helping out in a number of ways now is Patrol Sergeant Chris Hartman, posing for a picture after his promotion ceremony, as you're seeing on CivicCenterTV.com. And all smiles from him. I don't know who's more excited, Sergeant Hartman or Chief Patton, on this great accomplishment for one of our local officers. Congratulations to him.
Seems like it has a ring to it. Sergeant Hartman. Seems like it was made to be. 21 years combined experience. Congratulations, Sergeant. Seems like it was well deserved. Can't wait to see you out there and meet you.
Yeah, it's a big accomplishment for him. You can keep up to date with all the promotions in the West Bloomfield Police Department, plus public safety information and emergency information as it pops up in our community. Facebook.com/West Bloomfield PD, or you can always get in contact with them on their website, wbtownship.org. If you just scroll over their departments and click on police, you'll get even more information. Big accomplishments to big anniversaries. A local business in Keego Harbor celebrating over a decade of service to our community. People Skate and Snowboard earlier this month celebrating their 14th anniversary serving the Keego Harbor area and our other communities, looking for skate and snowboarding apparel and gear that they need for some of their favorite activities. Having opened on Orchard Lake Road back in 2010, they recently celebrated their 14th anniversary. The people from People wrote on their Facebook page, quote, "The relationships we've built and growth we've achieved have made all the challenging aspects of owning a business worth it. When we started, our vision was all about people and the common bond we share through these useless wooden toys we love." 14 years later, that vision remains. So congratulations to the Clark family and the People Skate and Snowboard, their entire team, and all their patrons for 14 great years serving our community. Kevin, you last that long in any business, you're doing something right.
Exactly, Tyler. That's exactly what I was going to say. Anyone who owns, operates, even works for a business, 10 years being there, working on one, it takes a lot of work, dedication, but just operating the business, going to that scope. Nowadays, you can do an online business, not have a physical brick and mortar, but to have a brick and mortar supported by the community for over 10 years, 14 to be specific, that really speaks to the community and it really speaks to the business. Congratulations again for 14 years of success.
You can learn more and give them your congratulations now on their Facebook page. See their full post with even more pictures and information and statements about their 14th year anniversary. Facebook.com/People Skate Shop, or visit their website, peopleskateandsnowboard.com. Congratulations again to them for 14 years. Kevin, the school year is over, but that doesn't mean that food insecurity for some of our students and families goes away. So the West Bloomfield School District is helping to support them this summer, as well as other school districts throughout the local area, partnering with Meet Up and Eat Up to provide children up to age 18 and under with delicious, nutritious meals throughout the summer. And what's great about this, Kevin, is you don't have to apply to be part of this program. You don't have to register to pick up these meals, and you don't even have to show proof of residency in order to obtain them. Just show up to these events, whether it's in your school district or nearby areas, and enjoy the meals. So here's where you can find where these are being served all throughout the summer. You can send a text message either to food or comida saying food or comida to 304-304. Again, that's texting food or comida, COMIDA, to 304-304 to find local drop-off sites, pickup sites for these meals. Now, they are intended to be consumed on-site at these pickup sites. It's not pick up and then to go. So that's something that is of note on the West Bloomfield School District's Facebook page. You can learn more about this event and get even more information from the West Bloomfield School District on their Facebook page at West Bloomfield Schools, or visit wbsd.org. Kevin, this is really important because we don't think about the food insecurity that kids may be experiencing throughout the year during the summer. It's kind of out of sight and out of mind. This keeps it top of mind, and especially for those families that may be questioning themselves where they're going to get their kids these meals throughout the summer.
We really have to thank the West Bloomfield School District and Meet Up and Eat Up for putting this together, and for just saying, put aside those requirements or whatever you would call it, as far as residency, school district, whatever the case may be. Come here, get a meal if you need it, consume it here, and then no questions asked. It's just such a great gesture, I will say, overall. So I'm glad that we're able to promote this, and I hope anybody listening and watching right now, if you don't need it, you at least tell someone else in need of this.
Yeah, one of the many programs throughout the year that the West Bloomfield School District partners with and participates in to address food insecurity with our kids. Not only Meet Up and Eat Up, but during the school year, Blessings in a Backpack provides these meals very nonchalantly to these kids in their backpacks all throughout the year, so that they have food on nights and on the weekends as well. So a consistent effort from our local schools to provide these meals for our kids. Speaking of meals and coming together as a community, a lot of that going to be going on over the next couple weeks over at the Sylvan Lake Community Center. Food Truck Night is back, Kevin, and it's back on Wednesday night, beginning at 5 o'clock, running to 8 o'clock at the Sylvan Lake Community Center. Pizza, calzones, sandwiches, corn dogs, fries, and so much more, all hot and ready to go, along with some great company out at the community center. Paul Buscemi's Detroit Panzerotti Company will be the featured food truck this month. This is their 7th time appearing at this event since these food truck pop-ups started way back during the pandemic in 2020. Perhaps a record, Kevin, of clearly a fan favorite.
I love pizza. You can't go wrong with pizza. I mean, you had me there. I mean, then you're going into corn dogs, and so I understand why they've been their fan favorites. It's an American favorite. It seems like a great time already. So, a great place to be. Sylvan Lake Community Center, food trucks, and great excitement.
I'll be out there working, so no eating on the job. There's free smells for Tyler out there before those meetings that night. But hey, worth the price of admission if you're asking me. Again, that's going to be 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock at the Sylvan Lake Community Center this week, Wednesday. And then, Kevin, you come back a week later, you get a bunch of games, both inside and outside. Sylvan Lake Game Night coming back, but with a special twist this time around. They're not only going to have their lovely board games inside, Mahjong and so on, maybe some euchre and that inside the building. Outside, they're going to be out on their newly renovated and updated tennis and pickleball courts, introducing those. They'll have a ribbon cutting event, and then if you want to learn some of these games, you want to learn tennis, you want to learn what this pickleball thing is all about, you got a chance to learn that out on the courts in Sylvan Lake as well. A professional instruction will be happening at that event. That is next week, Wednesday, June 19th from 6 to 8 p.m. And Kevin, all the fun happening in the prettiest little city in the state of Michigan can be found on their community calendar on sylvanlake.org. Hey, look, if you're looking for a place to go for some fun next couple weeks, sounds like the place to be on Wednesday nights is the Sylvan Lake Community Center.
This is what we do here on The Splash. So happy to promote and talk about events that are going on outside that our community is putting together. Another reason to come together outside in Sylvan Lake and in the neighboring communities also. So excited to see and be a part of this, Tyler.
Yeah, part of what keeps our communities looking great and being such wonderful landscapes. You think about the Sylvan Lake Community Center and what it overlooks on our lakelands and all the forestry around our area and our woodlands as well. A lot of that goes back to tending to our environment. And as we are in the month of June, We have a new green dream from the West Bloomfield Parks and Recreation Naturalist team. This is all about preventing the use of some harmful materials, such as styrofoam products. Now, they're pretty harmless when you're just using them yourself, but once they get into a landfill, they can take a while to decompose, some upwards of 500 years. And that's a long time for something to be in the landfill and for those chemicals to be seeping out of this garbage. So what they suggest is for this month of June, try to reduce your use of styrofoam or other one-use cups and use reusable products or products that are biodegradable, that are labeled biodegradable. That basically means you throw them out and they are intended to decompose quickly so as to put minimal, if any, impact on the environment. Those reusable cups, I keep one with me. I drink a lot of water out of this reusable cup every day, and I'm sure that's going to be something that gets a little bit of a golf clap from our friends over at West Bloomfield Parks. Kevin, that people can learn more information and get in contact with experts for even more conservation tips on wbparks.org or on their Facebook page at West Bloomfield Parks.
Continuously putting the word out there and just encouraging and advocating for things like this. It's what we can do, because overall I know it's going to take time for people to kind of get out of using the disposable cups and plates and things of that nature. But once you see that, you see these in our landfills and just in the woods and whatnot, you start to say, okay, it's time to make a difference. So yes, do your part individually and just tell other people, let's try to use these reusable cups and things of that nature. Stay away from the styrofoam.
Hey, we love the sunshine. We love the green outside. When we look up at the trees and we look out on those fresh blue lakes we have all across the greater West Bloomfield area. It takes an entire effort from our community to keep that going, not only here, but in surrounding areas. One ecosystem connects to the next and the other. So good advice from our friends over at West Bloomfield Parks. Live, local, social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. We'll take a quick break. Plenty more to get to from across our 4 communities coming up.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live. Want to enjoy Civic Center TV on your social media? Follow us on Twitter at Civic Center TV. Get notified when we upload one of our interviews, full episodes, and more. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
1 in 4 Michigan homes has high levels of radon, a naturally occurring radioactive gas known to cause lung cancer. It doesn't matter where you live or what type of home you have. You won't even know it's there unless you test. So don't wait. Testing is cheap and easy. And if there's a problem, it's simple to fix. Visit michigan.gov/radon to learn more.
We took action. Will you?
And now, back to the Splash Live.
Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm Tyler Kieft alongside Kevin McIntosh. Thank you for being with us as you do each and every day across our community. Kevin, there's so many resources across the greater West Bloomfield area for people that are in need in a variety of different ways, including those that may be struggling with some substance use disorders, to get the help that they need from supportive individuals right here in greater West Bloomfield.
Yes, and at the Farber Center, there is a substance abuse event going on, a speaking event, I should say, on June 17th, right here in the greater West Bloomfield area. And join us here on the Splash Live to talk about it, director of the Daniel B. Sobel Friendship House, we have Rabbi Benny Greenwald. Thank you so much for joining us on the Splash, Rabbi.
Thank you so much, Kevin and Tyler. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We appreciate your time first and foremost. Now, we're talking about what lies beneath, treating the trauma underlying substance abuse. Monday, June 17th. Can you first tell us a little bit more about this event overall?
Great question. So The question is when we see a family member or a friend, coworker, or finding ourselves that we're struggling with substance use, the question is what's causing it? Many times we think about party drugs, drinking for socially, and that's, it's life. But then there's certain times when it takes over our lives. And the question is what's causing that? Is it just boredom or there's something beneath? And usually there's something deep going inside of us that's causing us to try to numb out. And that's what we'll be discussing over here is past trauma. Trauma, sometimes we think about big traumas, like what we call them big T's, the big ones. But then there's those small little traumas that accumulate throughout our lives,
Right.
and that we trying to run away from that pain, and even if it's subconsciously. And that's what we'll be discussing about, trying to identify and how can we work on these traumas. That way we could find better coping mechanisms to live a happy and healthy life.
Thank you for providing that insight behind this event. And yes, a lot of people in some cases do just look at the surface level of things and just see that they are, going through substance abuse and not thinking about the root. Why? What's the cause? How can we stop this and get down to the problem of it? What's the actual trauma dealing with it? So thank you for providing that clarity on that. Now, I see the discussion will be led by Chantel Thomas, PhD, Executive Clinical Director at Winrose Recovery. Can you just talk a little bit more about Dr. Thomas and just give more background to her expertise, please?
Yeah, great. So I got to know Dr. Thomas through at the Friendship House where I work, which is a division of the Friendship Circle. We provide a lot of referrals for people because the Friendship House is a community of people in recovery. I'm not a therapist, I'm a rabbi and a chaplain, and I work very closely with therapists to create our beautiful recovery community. But obviously there are times when people need to go for inpatient or outpatient. So I try to visit the locations before I suggest someone go somewhere or do an intervention. I visit the location.
Right.
So I've been to Wisconsin to visit the manor because I knew some people that went through their program, and I met Dr. Thomas there, and I spoke to her about her philosophy and how she runs her practice, and I was really impressed with her not getting tied down with the surface level things, but really to getting to the root problem, which causes deep pain, which also when we deal with that causes deep recovery as well. So I got to know her through that, and she does a lot of work on trauma and the effect of trauma how it displays throughout the rest of our lives.
Got you. Okay, so and that's very, very important to provide someone who has that type of background, that type of knowledge, so that people can kind of trust in their words and their knowledge and their guidance when it comes to events like this. So thank you for providing that background. Rabbi, I also want to inquire, a lot of events can happen and do happen in the greater West Bloomfield area, but not all of them are very impactful or as important, I would say. But why do you feel like an event like this is important to our community at this time?
Because this is the human condition. We all suffer. See, addiction, sometimes we look at it, or substance use sometimes we look at people out there. But the truth is we all have inside of us things that are holding us back from being the people we want to really be. Every human being
Good point.
that I know of has things that are holding us back, consciously or subconsciously. So even if, we're not a full-blown, addict or suffering from substance use disorder, we could all identify with those feelings. And what's beautiful is that when we identify with those feelings, we start looking at the people in our lives who are suffering in a different light. We could really treat them with empathy rather than judgment. And I think this is important because we all know someone suffering. I try to tell people, I believe this, that if you don't know anyone suffering from substance use disorder or alcoholism or addiction, then you don't know anyone. So we all have people in our sphere of influence that this does affect. And many of us have a lot of these feelings inside of ourselves, feelings of things that happened in our lives before that are holding us back. So I think this talks to a wide audience.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. And that's exactly what I'm talking about, because we all need to kind of look at each other past that surface level point, because we all have that within us, and it should be no judgment. If you see someone who needs help, you should try to help them. And I'm glad you explained it the way that you did, way better than I did. Join us here
No,
on the
I don't know about
Splash
that.
Live, director of the Daniel B. Sobel Friendship House, Rabbi Benny Greenwald, talking about the what lies beneath, treating the trauma underlying substance abuse event. That'll be Monday, June 17th, 6:30 to 8 p.m. And once again, can you give additional information, registration, any cost to attend this, just type of information regarding the event and how to attend for attendees?
Great. The event is free for the whole community. If you are a social worker and you would like to get CEUs, continuous educational credits, we provide 1.5 CEUs for that. If you're not a social worker, we can give it to you. You know, you don't need those, but I'm happy to give you a certificate anyhow. To sign up, the easiest way would be to shoot an email and I'll send you the link. So you could send an email to Benny, which is BENNY at friendshipcircle.org. Again, it's Benny, BENNY at friendshipcircle.org.
Thank you so much for providing that additional information. And one last thing before we go, I mean, do you have any additional information that we may not have covered, or what would you want the audience or the attendees to take away from attending this event when they leave?
So, good question. I'll tell you what I would like to everyone to take away when they leave, but even if you don't show up, something to remember is that we are all worth fighting for. We are all special. We are all, this tonight starts a Jewish holiday of Shavuot, where the Jews and were given the Torah, the Bible, on Mount Sinai, the 10 Commandments. And in it, there's these commandments that tell us that we all matter. The sanctity of human life and the sanctity of our lives. And to remember that we all, no matter what we've gone through, no matter what we've done, we deserve a fighting chance. And we should remember that there are people around us that want to fight with us.
Yes. 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 No, you were spot on. I didn't even want to cut you off, Rabbi, but it felt like you were speaking to me at that moment, because we are literally all going through something at any given time. So have some type of empathy, have some compassion, and then check out events like this. What Lies Beneath, treating the trauma underlying substance abuse, June 17th. Thank you so much again, Rabbi Benny Greenwald, director of the Daniel B. Sobel Friendship House. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Kevin. God bless you.
No, thank you. Thank you. God bless you. We appreciate guests like that, Tyler, coming on the show, that come on and actually enlighten us and tell us a little bit more about events that are happening around in the community that our community needs too. And it just helps people who definitely need help in certain ways like that.
Yeah, it provides an element of support that may not be available in other areas of your life, or may be available but not necessarily in the right ways, maybe in some other areas of your life. And so it's another support system that's available in our community. So many different resources, whether it's treatment, whether it's information. And this sort of combines all of that into one in an intimate environment with people that are suffering from substance use issues, or are those that are affected by it, maybe family members or friends or others in somebody's community that knows someone that's affected by this and just wants to help. All the more reason to get that information and join them out there on Monday, June 17th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. At the Daniel B. Sobel Friendship House. Thank you to Rabbi Greenwald for being on with us. Kevin, this time of the year, we're doing a lot of celebrations as well. It's tough to believe we're just a short while away from the big 4th of July holiday weekend. That's a time where a lot of people will celebrate, particularly with fireworks. But with fireworks comes a whole lot of danger, not only when you're using them, but before and after as well. So here to give us a little bit more information on what you can do to make sure your fireworks fun is safe this summer is West Bloomfield Fire Marshal Byron Turnquist joining us on today's edition of the Splash Live. Fire Marshal Turnquist, thank you for being with us to talk about this. So before we get into a lot of the more specifics, what are some of the basics people should know when they're considering fireworks safety?
Yeah, they can be really dangerous. They can be very enjoyable when they're used properly, but we hope that everybody has a safe summer, safe holiday season using fireworks, along with being respectful for their neighbors. So one of the first things that I'd like to touch on is this year, per township ordinance, which is the same in Keego Harbor, Sylvan Lake, and Orchard Lake, fireworks can be used June 29th through July 5th. 11 a.m. in the morning to 11:45 p.m. in the evening. That's an effort to try to be respectful to your neighbors. But the most important thing is while you're using fireworks is to have a clear, open area where you can safely light that firework and enjoy it without being too close to combustibles.
And that plays a big factor also into these bigger fireworks shows that we see, whether it's out on Cass Lake or on Pine Lake or Orchard Lake or anywhere throughout our community that these private and public shows are happening. They're often, well, in all cases, they are consulting with our local fire department for safety reasons. What sort of discussions do go into some of these larger shows that we see also?
The pyrotechnicians submit a plan with the type of devices that they're going to be using on the displays. That plan will include a site plan that shows that we have the proper safety radius determined by the size of the shells that they are planning on using. Some of the smaller lakes and smaller shows that obviously forces the pyrotechnicians to use a smaller sized firework. But we look at all of those. We're taking account to make sure that what they charge the Lake Owners Association or the country club is what they deliver for the show. And then we're on site at the show to make sure that safety radius is met and maintained, and that they're igniting the fireworks safely and trying to just ensure a good evening for everyone involved.
And for individuals or for individual families that may be lighting fireworks just as a group during some of these occasions during that period of time, June 29th through July 5th, what is a safe distance in those cases?
Again, it depends on the size of the firework. Typically, what you're going to buy, and use are fountains or bottle rockets. You want to be in an open space. And the tricky thing with the ordinance and with the state law is that you have to use the fireworks on your property. That means you can't use the roadway. That means you can't go to the school and use their big open fields. You have to use your yard. The fireworks have to stay in your yard. And you want to keep them away from vehicles. You want to make sure that they're not on your deck. They want to be on a hard, flat surface like a driveway or a patio. Again, not a deck. Definitely not a composite deck. But you want to be safe away from the anything combustible, and you want to keep all the spectators clear of it too.
And it's also a matter of safety after you use the firework. Also, we've talked in the past about some things that residents can do after the firework has been done, or if maybe you get a dud in the group. What are some of those steps that people can take after they use a firework, or if one just doesn't go off?
Yeah, if you light a firework and it doesn't work, leave it alone. Just let it sit there. Don't go up and look over it. Don't try to reignite it. Stay away from it. Try to go to a different area if you're going to continue to use fireworks. And then after it's been, sitting there for an extended period of time, and then even your fireworks that you use, we recommend that you put them in a pail of water, let them soak overnight before you put them in the trash. All too often we see homeowners clean up after a fireworks evening or a 4th of July celebration, take all the fireworks, scoop them up, throw them in the garbage. And there could still be some smoldering embers in there, which could lead to a fire later in the evening. And we like to be invited to parties. We just want to be there for the party, not after the party.
More information can be found on WB Fire Department on Facebook. You can get all the information you need to know and some helpful tips all throughout the year on fire safety. Joining us today is the West Bloomfield Fire Marshal, Byron Turnquist, as we talk about fireworks safety in particular. And earlier on, I had mentioned as we started our conversation today that, of course, fireworks come in all different shapes and different sizes, whether it's those larger fireworks that we see in some of the big shows or sparklers that we often see handled by our children. And that, of course, brings up the necessity for education for our kids of all different ages as they're using fireworks. What should parents be taking into effect at this time as we get ready for that period of June 29th through July 5th?
Fireworks should really just be, reserved for the adults. Let the adults operate them. I know people love to light sparklers and let kids run around the yard. There's a burn injury hazard with sparklers. There's eye injuries if they trip and fall and can get poked in the face with a sparkler. And then one of the things I always hate to see is when kids throw the sparklers. They can be startled by the sparks and they'll toss it into the air, and then it's hard to find that at night in the lawn, and you'd hate for somebody to be walking through the yard in their bare feet and find that sparkler. So really all fireworks should just be used by anybody that's over 18. And I know around the 4th of July celebrations, alcohol is usually present, and anybody using fireworks, lighting them should be sober and not drinking.
And we know that accidents can happen. Somebody, like you said, throws a sparkler and it gets lost in the lawn. It doesn't cause a fire, but someone's walking around and they can step on that and get burned. Or there's a number of different incidents that can happen. When those do happen, what are the most important steps that people should take if there is a firework malfunction or some sort of an injury as a result of firework use?
Yeah, it's always a good idea to have a fire extinguisher readily accessible and available. If you don't have a fire extinguisher handy, make sure that you have a hose that's turned on and ready to be used in the event if something goes wrong. Main thing is have a safe distance. Don't try to reignite anything that didn't fire properly, and soak the fireworks before you put them in the garbage.
Byron, we know people want to capture the moments. Often when fireworks are coming into play in the summer, it's for a special occasion like the 4th of July. And so they bring out video cameras or even drones in many cases to capture these occasions. But when we combine the safety concerns of fireworks and then drones, what should be considered or what should be kept in mind by residents that may be trying to utilize technology during these sorts of displays?
Again, try to do it. Make sure you're doing it from a safe distance. With the drones, if you want to risk your drone and put it up in the air, a firework may hit it. It's hard to say what direction it's going to go, and when you're flying around a drone up in the sky, the distances can be hard to judge. So yeah, you can get some cool footage. Technology is amazing with what you can capture today. And just again, can't emphasize enough, distance is your friend. You want to make sure you're a safe distance away from anything that's going to explode.
Helpful fire safety tips are available all throughout the year on Facebook at WB Fire Department. You can also find more information and contact the West Bloomfield Township Fire Department, which also serves our Tri-Cities in Greater West Bloomfield, by visiting wbtownship.org. We're joined right now by their Fire Marshal, Byron Turnquist, on today's edition of the Splash Live. Byron, before we let you go, we know that there's a number of different misconceptions that people may have about fireworks safety or about some of the dangers. What are some of the more common misconceptions that we do here this time of the year that the fire department in particular really wants to dispel as we get ready for fireworks season?
Again, a firework is essentially they try to control an explosion. So you need to understand what's happening with the fireworks and be prepared for the surprise. If something goes wrong, if a firework isn't built right, it's designed to shoot straight up, it could tip over at the last second and shoot sideways. Just can't emphasize enough being safe, keeping a safe distance away from the firework, just in case something goes wrong. Having a pail of water when people think that they're out and they've been sitting on the patio for an hour or so, still soak those fireworks in water. Don't put them in the garbage can and wheel that garbage can right into the other garage. Every 4th of July, we end up with a garbage can fire or a garage fire, basically just for improper disposal of the fireworks.
Any questions you may have, you can contact the West Bloomfield Township Fire Department, 248-409-1505, 248-409-1505. Byron, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Always good to have our friends at the West Bloomfield Township Fire Department, which also serves as the Tri-City Fire Department for Keiko Harbor, Sylvan Lake, and Orchard Lake Village on with us. Really important topic as you get ready to purchase those fireworks, put them away for a little bit, and then use them during that legal period just leading up and through the 4th of July holiday. Safety applies to fireworks before, during, and after you use them. To contact the fire department, learn more on their Facebook page, facebook.com/WB Fire Department, or visit wbtownship.org. Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. More to get to in just a moment. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live. Bringing you stories and memories from Keiko Harbor, Civic Center TV, and 89.3 Lakes FM. Live, local, and social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Join our team as we highlight people and events that are making an impact in the greater West Bloomfield area. Catch us live Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Watch us on demand at civiccentertv.com. Or watch us on TV at Comcast Channel 15 or AT&T at Channel 99.
When you have a gambling problem, you have a money problem. Don't let your gambling cause you financial hardship. If you or someone you love is struggling with gambling, we can help. Get free confidential counseling and win your life back. Learn more at michigan.gov/problemgambling. Good nutrition can help make sure you have enough iron, calcium, and vitamin C in your body, which can make it harder for lead to enter your bloodstream. Help protect your family from the harmful effects of lead.
And now, back to the Splash Live.
Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm Tyler Kieft alongside Kevin McIntosh, and thanking you for joining us each and every day for the latest going on across our 4 communities. Kevin, a lot of what we talk about is all about bringing people together. Nothing brings people together quite like a good meal.
Absolutely, and now we have a What's Cooking event at the West Bloomfield Township Public Library, and that'll be hosted by the Friends of the West Bloomfield Township Public Library. So joining us right here on the Splash Live from the Friends of the West Bloomfield Township Public Library, we have Johnny Ropemore and Michaela Ali from the Friends of the West Bloomfield Public Township Library. We appreciate you for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So we're talking about a very, very nice event and a collaboration with the West End Kitchen. Can you just talk about how this event came about just in general?
Well, West End Kitchen opened about a little less than a year ago, and it had been sitting sort of empty since COVID. We approached them and we asked if they'd be willing to do a cooking demo, because we have a lot of cooking enthusiasts and amateur chefs who enjoy that type of thing.
Exactly. And we really like to highlight local small businesses. So they were a perfect match.
Perfect. So we're talking about basically, are we teaching people how to cook just in general? Are they specific dishes? Johnny, can you answer that one?
Yeah, we actually do teach people how to cook each restaurant's maybe one of their favorite meals. For instance, with our last guest, we taught them how to cook desserts with Dakota bread, and with Vitality Bowls, we taught them how to make a healthy bowl.
Yes.
And with our current one, West End Kitchen, West End Kitchen and Bar, we're going to be showing them how to make pasta.
Specifically lemon rigatoni.
Are we talking about? Are we making pasta from scratch, like actual pasta from scratch?
No, we're not going to make the pasta from scratch,
Oh,
but
okay.
they are going to share one of their award-winning recipes. As Michaela mentioned, the lemon chicken rigatoni. It can be pretty complicated, but when our chefs come in, they know how to present it in a way that anyone can do it.
Nice. That's what we want to
And
do ultimately. Make some dishes that are relatively quick to make, inexpensive things that we can make at home, and just kind of do it as a great date night or as a family, right? I would imagine that's what this is doing, as well as bringing the community together specifically at the library.
That's exactly right.
And we're also going to be serving a chopped salad, and that's something just about everyone loves.
Yes. Keeping things natural, keeping things organic and healthy. You gotta appreciate things like that. Now with West End Kitchen, specifically, they're known for their upscale, great food and things of that nature. Can you just talk about a little bit more about their specific types of food that they serve generally?
Their foods are simple yet unique. They serve a steak bits piece dish that is actually extremely delicious. It's delicious. It is upscale. It's sirloin, but they make it kind of simple by cutting it into small pieces. Similar to small plates when you visit restaurants, and they serve different
Right.
small plates you can share. Well, the West End Kitchen and Bar, they serve numerous dishes like that. Fun food, hand food, and then foods that you can eat with forks and knives and things of that nature.
They also specialize in flatbreads. They have an oven, so different types, vegetarian, meat, everything. They also have an excellent cocktail menu and a beautiful bar. When I go, I like to sit at the bar and just, hang out, people watch. It's just a great vibe. And everyone of all ages go. Yes.
You gotta appreciate a great vibe, especially during the summertime outside. And yeah, I just want you to paint that picture for our viewers and our listeners who never heard, never been there, just to give them that little bit of support. But join us here on the Splash Live to talk a little bit more about the What's Cooking event at the West Bloomfield Township Public Library, featuring West End Kitchen. We have Johnny Roquemore and Michaela Ali, from the Friends of the West Bloomfield Public Township Library. Now, Michaela, I want you to just talk about, why do you feel like this event is important for our community? Why they should actually come out and support this and see what's going on?
I think it's important for people to come out because it's important to support your local library. That's what the Friends does. We're a direct organization that works with the library and supports different events. The What's Cooking event is something we host 4 times a year. And we just started back after not having it during COVID. And we usually have around, it's like 70 people, like Johnny said, amateur chefs, people that just, enjoy cooking, want to learn how to cook. What else, Johnny?
Foodies, people who love looking at food, talking about food, smelling it, the whole experience. And with West End Cooking, with West End Kitchen and Bar, again, they provide so many different types of foods. And as Michaela mentioned, the vibe is everything. You go to West End Kitchen and Bar, they have indoor seating and covered outdoor seating, which is rare. Sometimes you have outdoor seating, like they have like a patio, and it's like you have to deal with the elements, maybe the rain, different insects.
Right. Yeah.
But it's beautiful. It's actually covered. And again, children are even welcome. It's very rare to go to a bar where children fit in. The whole family can have fun at West End Kitchen and Bar.
I was going to say, they're also known, they have live music. The first time I was there, they had a singer, and I don't know what I expected, but he played the guitar, the keyboard. He was singing, every song. Yes.
Michael Jackson, Frank Sinatra.
To Juvenile. You can imagine what that's like. It was so much fun.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
A good variety and range and everything. It seems like a great
Exactly.
vibe and a great time. Make sure you go out there and support the West Bloomfield Public Library in their What's Cooking event featuring the West End Kitchen and Bar, which is June 12th, 7 p.m. Get there or register as soon as you possibly can. Thank you again for joining us here on the Splash Live. Johnny Roquemore as well as Michaela Ali from the Friends
Oh,
of the West
Kevin.
Bloomfield Public Township
Kevin, they
Library.
don't
We
have to
appreciate. Oh yes, go
register.
ahead.
They don't have to
No
register. They can just
registration.
walk. No registration. Everyone's welcome.
Everyone, all ages, please come.
Oh, we love to hear that. Oh, we love to hear that.
We
Thank
wanna
you
see
so
you
much
there
again,
too,
Johnny and Michaela. We appreciate you. Oh yes, I'll definitely make time. I'll make time. We'll talk about that. I appreciate it.
Great.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Tyler, such a great event to talk about and promote right here on the Splash about great cooking, great environment, great vibes, and featuring a local business, the West End Kitchen and Bar, happening June 12th at the West Bloomfield Public Township Library.
Yeah, a lot of great events happening out there all throughout the summer, not only for book lovers, but for food lovers, people that just want to get together and have something to do after their busy day here in our community. Good stuff from the Friends of the West Bloomfield Township Public Library in partnership, of course, with the West Bloomfield Library. Right next door to them at West Bloomfield Town Hall, some big accomplishments in the clerk's office on their budget. The West Bloomfield Township recently awarded by the Government Finance Officers Association their Distinguished Budget Presentation Award, and joining us now on the program to talk about it is one of the people that was really doing the legwork behind getting this award to West Bloomfield Township. Their budget and pension manager, Allison Breuer, joins us now on the Splash Live. Allison, thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, glad to have you on. Congratulations on this award from the Government Finance Officers Association, the Distinguished Budget Presentation Award. So tell us, about this award and a little bit about the process that you took to apply the township for this distinction.
Well, this is a very unique award. In order for a local government to receive this award, they have to meet certain criteria that the GFOA has set up, and we're really set up to help promote transparency to our stakeholders. It is a policy document that talks about what the government's policies are, a financial plan for the upcoming year, and an operations guide for how we're going to meet our goals for the year. What's really unique is of the 90,000 local governments in the United States, only 1,700 receive this award each year. And it really does take the teamwork of all of our departments and the elected officials to meet these criteria and their support in applying for the budget award from GFOA. But we're so thrilled that West Bloomfield Township has received this award for the first time.
And because it's such a rarity and because there are such stringent requirements that go into even qualifying for this distinction from the Government Finance Officers Association, what does that say about the work that you and that your team are doing as you're helping to craft this budget and really what the budget process is like for West Bloomfield Township?
Well, I think it really reflects that that our staff and our board of trustees is really committed to the highest principles of budgeting and transparency to our residents and our stakeholders, and that we are using best practices really across the country in trying to put this document together and plan for not only the upcoming year, but for the future of West Bloomfield Township.
Joining us on the program, Allison Breuer, the Budget and Pension Manager at West Bloomfield Township, as they recently received the Distinguished Budget Presentation Award from the Government Finance Officers Association. It was announced last night at their West Bloomfield Township Board meeting that they received this, and you can find that on civiccentertv.com. Allison, you've mentioned a lot about transparency playing a key role in what is ultimately being distinguished from the GFOA. in this award. So from the township's perspective, how does transparency play a role in not only the budget process, but the availability of that information after the fact?
Well, definitely having the budget on the website for our residents and stakeholders to see not only what goes into the budget process, but how they can play a role, provide input to their elected officials at our special budget meetings, at the public hearing we hold for the budget prior to adoption. And really, it's the Board of Trustees that are the policymakers and are adopting that financial plan for the township. So them as the voters are really the ones that are the decision makers.
And what's interesting, too, about these local municipal budgets is that they're pre-planned, sometimes usually several months before that year even starts. And as it goes through the year and you realize there are more needs in some areas than others, it is in some ways a living and breathing document that does then go back to the township board and does go back to the public in some capacity. So from your office's standpoint, how is the budget a year-long management project? How does that play into sort of your role at the township on a day-to-day basis?
Sure. Well, we are already in June starting our budget kickoff process for 2025, looking at our capital planning for the next 5 years, beginning in 2025 through 2029. But what we're also doing is looking at the 2024 budget, how are revenues coming in? How are we doing on our expenditures? We're always looking at any variances that we have or any anomalies that might require us to do a budget amendment. But it is a constant monitoring process so that we can ensure that if we need a budget amendment, that we go and get that authorization from the Board of Trustees so that we are not spending outside of what they have appropriated for us to use by each government activity.
And once again, West Bloomfield Township awarded the Distinguished Budget Presentation Award from the Government Finance Officers Association. And I'll let you go. I just want to go back to even just the process of applying for this distinguished award. Why even go for something like this? What does this ultimately mean for our township beyond just necessarily the rarity that a municipality gets awarded this?
What I always find most useful is the feedback. The document is actually peer reviewed by 3 other government finance professionals outside of the state of Michigan, and they are reviewing the document and seeing if it meets the criteria, and then they provide feedback and maybe some comments for ways to improve the document. So while we did a lot of work to meet those criteria, what I'm most excited about is implementing the comments from our reviewers to make the budget document an even better communication tool to tell our residents what we're doing now and what we're planning for the future.
Well, we congratulate you and the entire clerk's office, the treasurer's department, and all at West Bloomfield Town Hall that go into making our budgets each and every year and ultimately qualifying you for this distinguished honor from the Government Finance Officers Association. Allison, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for helping us spread the good news. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. More information on the West Bloomfield Township budget process, including their special budget meetings coming up, more information on those documents if you want to review that and engage in some of that transparency. WBTownship.org is the place to go for all that. Check in about 1 o'clock for our West Bloomfield Township Board replay from last night to see even more from Treasurer Terry Weingarten on that and learn more about this distinguished honor for West Bloomfield Township. If you're looking for things coming up about a week from now, we'll be celebrating the the Juneteenth holiday next week, Wednesday in West Bloomfield. Juneteenth in the WB is back with a little bit different of a set of activities this year. The Juneteenth Jamboree will be happening with West Bloomfield Parks, Library, and more on June 19th in the Civic Center campus complex, 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. There'll be free food, of course, in limited quantities, a coloring station, writing workshops, the power of story, face painting, and ice cream provided by 44 Scoops. Plus, live entertainment at noon, 1 o'clock, and even at 1:20 by the musical theater department at West Bloomfield High School. Plenty to do on that day over at the Civic Center complex. Come out and have a fun afternoon and celebrate Juneteenth next week, Wednesday from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. More information can be found on wbparks.org/diversity. Kevin, we've had too much fun today. We're already out of time. It's time to get going. I want to thank everybody that joined us on today's edition of the program. Thank all those that are working on the program. Jake Schaff at Master Control alongside Calvin Brown. Jake also out in the field today. Of course, alongside Kevin McIntosh, I'm Tyler Keefe. Thank you for tuning in to The Splash Live.